Good morning, evening, or afternoon to all of you beautiful people. Josh here, back to bring you some sweet voice-based content. So, full disclosure, I do have some bigger videos planned for the next little while, but getting around to putting the work in for them is proving challenging. Mentally. However, I've been getting back to the audition grind recently, and it got me thinking about voices and how I approach a character. I mentioned in previous videos that you don't need a million voices to be a voice actor, however it's still important that you craft a voice that makes sense for the person or character you're auditioning for, or playing. So I thought today I'd talk about my approach to creating voices for characters that I voice act. Without any further ado, let's go! So normally the first place you would look is the character description. Most auditions will give you a little brief on the character, telling you their age, background, and a bit about their story. So what you have in front of you, this is the basis for creating the voice and the simplest starting point. You gotta start with the obvious stuff. If they're older, they're gonna have a lower pitch for the voice. If they're younger, it's gonna raise, it's gonna be up here. If they're from a more noble background, they might enunciate their words more, whereas if they're more common, you'd focus less on the enunciation of the words and maybe miss some letters here and there. See how even though these were simple changes, I've given the impression of 4 quite different characters. This is where you find your starting point for a character, but obviously we don't want to be that shallow. Once you got the basics of the voice down, now we take a deeper dive into the character. What makes up the character's personality? Maybe they're a bit shyer, so you might give them a bit of a stutter or speak a lot faster at points because you're trying to match things. Maybe you'd raise or lower the volume of your voice as you're trying desperately to find the right pitch not to offend anyone. What if they're a strong, noble knight? Maybe every sentence, no matter how mundane, is a declaration. Everything they say is founded in conviction and confidence in themselves. Maybe they have the role of a noble, but they're a deeply evil character. So when they speak, there's conviction is there, but there's an underlying sense of malice behind everything they say. Maybe that conviction isn't necessarily evil and is a bit more seductive. So you'd hear a breathy and inviting tone, not necessarily evil, but pulling you into their physical space just with their words. And again, all of these small changes create a different vibe for the character, so it's important to ensure that the voice fits the character. And this is where one of my personal favourite steps comes in. Inspiration! Every character that has ever been created will have a similar archetype, it's just fact. Look at the character that you're auditioning for and think about who they remind you of. Just thinking off the top of my head, when I think of like a strong and noble character, I think of Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. That older, gravelly tone mixed with the power and poise that he delivers his line with. Or maybe I'm looking for a bit of a younger example, so I think of All Might or Roy Mustang. They have a younger and clearer tone, but still maintain that level of power and demands for respect in that voice. Take a look at the character, have a think about who they remind you of, and pick and choose some little things that resonate with you and the character that can help you make up the voice. Now, the very last thing I consider when creating a voice for a character is this, and this is probably one of the most important things. Can I do the voice for a significant length of time? You could potentially be recording for 3, 4, maybe even 5 hours, sometimes longer, I hear. You need to be able to maintain the voice you've created for that character for a long ass time and not slip into another voice when your voice starts getting tired. If you don't feel that the voice is possible to maintain, try a completely different voice, take a different approach to the character, or if you want to keep it simple, maybe just lower the pitch a little bit until it feels a bit more comfortable. And if you're still not happy with it, then it's time to move on and try a different character. You have to be happy with your performance as a voice actor, and if you don't think you can get where you want to be for the performance, there are plenty of other characters out there that you would be perfect for to audition for. I believe in you, my friend! Go out and get those roles! And there we go! So that is how I go about creating voices for characters. As always, I have to put full disclosure, this is not a definitive way of creating a character voice. These are just the basic steps that I take to create voices for characters that I audition for or voice. Do with this information what you will. If there's anything that I've missed that you think would be good for me to know when auditioning for a character, or any weird quirks that you have when coming up with a voice, let me know down in the comments. I'm genuinely curious about what you guys do when creating a character voice. If you did enjoy this video, then do leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more beautiful voice-based content. Keep your eyes out for my next video. I do upload every 2 weeks, but until next time, thanks a bunch for watching. I hope all of your auditions go well, and above all else, I hope you magical, wonderful souls all stay wonderful.